Edgar Allan Poe, and today I'll talk about why I think that the first-person perspective of The Telltale Heart is the better story.
Hi, I'm Shirley Jackson, and I will talk about why the lottery, written with limited omniscience, is the best use of narrative perspective.
I, Edgar Allan Poe, decided to write the story The Telltale Heart in first-person perspective. This is because my readers get to experience the actions and feelings of the narrator and also connect with me personally. My life has not been a fairy tale. There have been definitely many bumps on the road, and the way I love to express this is through writing. Many say that I was unstable and deranged, but I think I'm fine. Therefore, The Telltale Heart is a small inspiration from a part of my life that I'm delighted to share with my readers. Throughout the story, the readers engage and understand the narrator's journey. For example, true, nervous, very, very dreadful, nervous I has been and am. By this first line, the narrator has captured the attention of my readers, as they wonder why the narrator is nervous. But why will you say that I'm mad? Here the narrator has confused the readers even further and thus aroused their curiosity. I had in my head and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening, and the old man sprang up in bed crying out, "Who's there?" This is the climax of the story, where the reader understands the characters and knows the story. This is where they experience the intense moment together and don't know what to expect next. "Villains," I shriek. "Dissemble no more. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks, here, here. It's the beating of the hideous heart." This line completes the journey of the reader and the narrator throughout the story. We can see that the reader is actively engaged with the narrator, as they will have experienced the full emotional extent of the story. Thus, we learn that the human heart cannot endure the burden of guilt.
I chose to write the lottery in limited omniscience because it would make the story more sinister and disturbing for the readers. I wanted to show how it would be like if this is real, and if I used the most popular choice of narrative, first person, the reader would have known what's going on inside the townspeople's heads. If they knew that, there would not be the twist ending, as the winner of the lottery actually is the loser, as it gets stoned to death for ritualistic practices. If you knew this, it would have a different spin on the story. Instead of making it a mystery story, it would have been more a novel, as it would have taken longer, as it would have showed you the different people's perspectives in the story. It makes you wonder what's going to happen next. As at the beginning, when you read the title of the lottery, you thought it'd be a good thing. But as the story progressed, you saw what a difference it actually makes. For example, Bobby Martin had already stuffed his pockets full of stones, and the other boys followed his example. This shows how the story gives us information, but not all the information, as it told us he was picking up stones, but not why. It looks as if it's a common thing for the rest of the boys who are picking up stones, as it said they're choosing the roundest and shiniest ones, as if it's a game. But in the end, you realize it's no game, and it is a dead thing happening.
I understand that the lottery's third-person objective is effective compared to the first, as it makes it more of a mystery, though The Telltale Heart in first-person perspective is unmatched. This is because your story is completely detached, and the readers do not learn anything about the characters' inner thoughts and feelings. This also means that your readers will not be able to connect and understand the full depth of the story. Furthermore, the lottery shows the process of the lottery unwinding, which is not intriguing. The first-person narrative in The Telltale Heart is better, as the unreliable narration is what makes the story great. Telltale Heart is a monologue of a nervous narrator telling the reader how he murdered someone, where the narrator eventually confesses. It is consistently revealed through the twisted logic of the story that the narrator is insane. Like when he says, "I love the old man," and then he says, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man." This first-person perspective emphasizes the tension and fear in the reader's mind.
I see where you're going about first-person perspective in The Telltale Heart, but I have to disagree with you. I think making the lottery in a detached point of view gives the beauty of the story. In the ending, it gives it a total twist and makes up for the detachment later on. I do agree that it would be interesting to see what the villagers think, but that's part of the story. It makes you wonder about what's going to happen next, and also what the villagers are thinking. Part of the wonder of the story is having the story in your own head, not just what the author told you. Also, for example, in The Telltale Heart, you were inside the mind of the author, inside the mind of the killer, making it less scary and disturbing. As you are doing the killing, you are not feeling the pain of the people who are getting hurt. As even though you're not in the mind of the people in the lottery, you see their pain from the way they're talking.
In conclusion, the first point of view of my story, The Telltale Heart, enables my readers to experience the actions and feelings of the narrator in the story and connect with me personally, as said before. Lastly, the language used by the narrator shows a connection with the psychological state. The readers, together with the narrator's transition between calm, logical statements and quick, irrational outbursts. His use of frequent exclamations reveals his extreme nervousness. One of the most effective and engaging moments of this perspective is the crude ending. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks. Here, here. It is the beating of the hideous heart. This shocks the reader with a sudden burst of intensity at the end and proves the emotional and dramatic enclosure to The Telltale Heart, proving that The Telltale Heart, told in first-person perspective, is more effective than the lottery.
So, as a result of the debate, I think the lottery has a better use of narrative perspective because it gives a twist ending, as I mentioned before, gives the story of mystery, as you are still in your mind thinking of what's going to happen next. As it does not do this in The Telltale Heart. For example, it tells you what happens at the end. It does not give, it gives backstory, a little bit of backstory on the character and why he's doing it as you're in his head. But in the lottery, you don't know what's happening, and it makes you feel more scared, which is also the reason that the lottery has been a classic for so long. So that's why I think the lottery has the best use of narrative perspective over The Telltale Heart.